I walked in this morning, I'm emotional, warning you in advance. When I walked in this morning and just felt all the love in this room, I just felt like this could be our whole world, what happens in this room. Just the love and all the different people and all the different everything, and it's just love. And it just really touched my heart. So, who are my introverts in the room? Raise your hand if you're an introvert. Thank you. This is the honesty, the truth room. Who are the extroverts? Okay, very telling. And who are the ambiverts? So I'm going to talk about social media, and I'm going to talk about using social media as a powerful force for positive change in the world. And I know that social media has so many different emotions and feelings for people, and I always like to start out by saying, Ralph Waldo Emerson said, "Every sweet hath its sour." Social media can be the most annoying thing that ever walked the face of the earth, and it can be a powerful tool for us. And each person in this room came onto the planet with a purpose. Each of us has a purpose for being here, to elevate humanity, to elevate each other.
Thank you.
So I'm going to say something right now. I'm going to tell you something that might be staggering for a lot of you. So everybody take a deep breath. Because some of you may go out of your body when I say this. You have an opportunity to be present, to show up, to speak, to reach people on the largest stage in the world. Let that in. Social media is the largest platform in the world for us to reach people. And whether you have a business, whether you have a cause, whether it's a mission, whether it's a message, whatever it is for you, or even if you're guiding your kids, social media is here to stay. And so learning how to use it and becoming empowered is the way that we can really use it to change the world. So who's with me? So who's open to, for those of you who are like, who's open to maybe taking like 2 steps forward in their embracing of social media today? What I want to do is I want to start by talking about my own experience with social media, because like I always like to say, I'm not like the others. So I didn't like one day go like, oh yeah, I want to do social media. Oh my God, it's so cool. I did not do that. And I was not an early adapter, and I did not embrace it. And the truth is, I got onto, actually it was MySpace, so now you know how old I am, to stalk my kids, okay? I wasn't getting on social media to do it for myself. So I'm an introvert, mostly, and I can be an extrovert. For every extrovert minute, I need or for every extrovert hour, I need 3 hours of introvert to recover. That's me. And I'm not somebody who's I'm not a rah-rah person. And I grew up with my bright red hair and my prominent freckles as a very shy person, always feeling like I was invisible. Which is so funny, because one day I realized that, because I had super bright red hair back then. Now it's more like the 69-year-old version of red hair. Back then, it was like glowing red hair. And I still thought I was invisible. And I woke up when I was about 12 years old and said, why am I here? Why are people here? Why do we exist? And I started questioning. And I felt so alone and so different from anybody else. Anybody ever feel that as a young person? There were like the better thans and the less thans. I was in the less thans. Everybody was smarter. Everybody was better. So by the time I was 15, in order to fit in, I decided that I would turn to alcohol and other mind-altering substances so I could fit in with my friends. And it didn't really work for me, because basically what happened is I found my spiritual path and I found alcohol and those other things at the same time. And I tried to do both. So we all know where that went. So needless to say, I was at my first AA meeting when I was 21. And I got sober when I was 23. emptiness inside. So now here I am with nothing to fill the hole, and I'm still feeling empty. So at that point, I decided, like, all right, I'm gonna go for money, property, and prestige, and become like a corporate person. And so that was in the 80s, and I decided, like, all right, I want to make as much money as a man, and I'm willing to work twice as hard for it. Mm-hmm. Some of you here of a certain age know that time. I don't know that that time exists in the same way anymore. But that's what I decided. And so what happened for me was I sort of chose spirituality and the corporate thing, and that didn't work either. And so what happened, the first phase of that not working was that I got very sick. I tried to fit into that world, and I hated it, and I was so unhappy, and I almost died. And I had one of those, I don't know if anyone else here has had this, where I had sort of that out-of-body experience where you're looking down at your body, and you know you can leave, and you hear your guides go like, okay, you can go now. But I knew that I didn't want to leave. At least at that time of my life, I knew that I had a purpose. I knew I was here for something. I still didn't know what, but I knew I was here for something. So I made a decision when I came back in my body, and I said, like, okay, I'm gonna stay, but if I have to be on the planet in a body, I wanna be happy. And that was my commitment. So I went on this quest to be happy. Still in my corporate job, but I got my master's degree in holistic health education, and I became a yoga teacher, and I pursued my spiritual path. That, you know, I went back to that, and I found my connection with my higher power and all those things. And what happened for me, you know, I just kept trying to find myself. And so I found myself in my work, or my calling, which was being a non-denominational minister and officiating weddings and ceremonies. So I still have my corporate job, and I'm doing this other thing on the side, because at the time that I grew up, you don't do the thing you love for money. You do that on the side, because if you start doing it for money, you'll start hating it. And so I did that on the side. I see some people nodding, right? So I did that on the side, and what happened for me, super long story short, was that I became very successful with it. Also during that time, I got married, I had a kid, and what happened with the corporate thing was, I took one of those, like, you know that cosmic kick in the butt seminar where you go, I'm quitting my job in 6 months. Then I got the 30-day voluntary layoff, so careful what you pray for. The other thing that happened was my son came home from school one day, and he said he hated school. And that was the real turning point for me. Because it was like, for myself, I could sacrifice my health and almost dying in that corporate world, but when my son came home from school and said he hated school, I couldn't sacrifice anymore. I couldn't sacrifice for him. So I quit my job, and I turned my hobby into a business. And I ended up doing that for 20 years, and it was amazing, and I got to help start a charter school, and I got to be a stay-at-home working mom, and my son is 37 now. He's married, he has 2 kids. I can refer to them as my grandchildren and their parents. And I'm Grammy Dai. And he, number one, thanks me for being there for him, and number 2, he thanks me for role modeling being an entrepreneur, because he's also an entrepreneur. So during that time, how I became so successful with my wedding ministry was that it was kind of the beginning of the internet. And I got ahead of the curve, and I kind of, you know, I can be like a pit bull when I want to figure something out. So I wanted to figure out, how are all these people getting to the top of Google? How are all these businesses getting to the top of Google? So I summoned my inner geek, and I figured it out, and I cracked the code. And so in the last 10 years of my business, I was able to build my wedding ministry into 100 other, I did 100 weddings a year. I had 6 other ministers, and it was very successful. And I got to really feel the experience of having a successful business. However, in about the last 5 years of that business, I sort of started to be done with that business, and I didn't have an exit strategy. And that's something you really can't do when you're like done. It's like, it's very intense work. I loved it, and then I was done. So in that time, during the wedding, when you're in the wedding industry, there's an off season. So during the off season, I would help the other officiants and the other wedding professionals to grow their online presence. And I was helping them, I'm Napa wedding photographer, and it was like, oh, this is fun. This is something I'm good at, and I can work at home and have my flexible schedule. And so what happened for me was I transitioned into doing that. And at the beginning, it was building websites and SEO and all that stuff, and it was great, but then it was like, I could really make a difference in the world if I started helping people who are healing the world with who they are and their businesses. And that's when I transitioned into doing that work. And for me, I finally found my purpose. It was like marrying my spiritual self with my inner geek and using all of my gifts and skills and talents to help people to heal the world. And so what happened with that was, it was SEO and websites and all that, but then social media happened. And, it was like, okay, God, really? Facebook, this is my life? Because there was a part of me that was so really not me. And I really did, at the beginning it was like, oh man, this is really cool. And then I started to really hate it. And it just felt like, it just didn't feel like me. And the reason I talked about my own story of being an introvert and feeling shy, I listened to the panel before us and all of the talk about authenticity. And that's what I really want you to get today. One of the things is that you don't have to be anybody else on social media to have it be something where you can reach your people. You can just be you. And that was such a hard thing for me. So, because I felt like, well, I have to do all these things that all these other people are doing, and, you know what I'm talking about, right? Okay, anybody know what I'm talking about? Okay, yeah, and it was like, that's just not me. I can't do that. I'm not gonna do that, because I can't be showing up in the world and being on this platform and not feeling authentically who I am. So it was a struggle for me, but here's the thing. Here I was, like, teaching other people and this and that, and it got to a certain point for me where it was like, okay, I have to, like, walk my talk. Because, like, I was kind of, like, not really doing it. Like, you can show up but not really be showing up. You can look like you're doing it and not be doing it. And that's what I was doing. I mean, it's like telling on myself because I wasn't doing it authentically. And numerous people who loved me in my life were also telling me that. They're like, you have to really show up the way you're wanting other people to show up. And it was a struggle for me. But I'm telling you that, inch by inch, as I have started to show up, it's transformed for me exponentially. And it's like, you dip your toe in, one little toe at a time, you try things, you see how it works, and then you either keep going or you pull back. But it's something that for me, it was a struggle. And I know that people look at me and they see my online presence and they're like, oh, it's easy for her, she could do it. But it wasn't easy for me. And I started to really think about, like, well, what am I really doing here? What is this for me? What is social media? And one day I realized, actually, I was at a networking event and I was talking to someone, well, you should just do Facebook and da. And she was like, yeah, well, I just really like to meet with people in person. And it was like, all of a sudden in that moment, I had that realization, the internet is really just a 24/7 networking opportunity. It's just like being here, only it's 24/7. And that's the thing, is that I think a lot of us, we look at social media, we look at Facebook, or we look at LinkedIn, or whatever we're doing, and we think about it as an opportunity to sell. And we don't do it, we don't do anything, we don't put anything out there, and then we're like, oh, well, I have this workshop, or I have a sale on something, or I want to tell people something. And you just put that out there. And that's the thing, is that it's really so much more about engaging, about building relationships, about connecting. Just like here. Like if you walked in this room and you were like, hey Debbie, want to buy my book? Hi Mary, I got this great workshop to do. Hey, can I just tell you about my cause? And you don't even know that person. What's going to happen? They're going to be like, hey Diana, how you doing? Running the other way. But what do we do here? we get to know each other. We connect. We build relationships. We don't shove our cards in people's faces. And we don't do that on social media. And so it becomes a very friendly place for us to play. And I like to use the word play because it just gives me the right mindset for social media. It's a place to play and to meet people. So the thing that I want to sort of talk to you about, energetically we are all connected. Okay, that's scientifically proven now. It's not a theory anymore. We are all connected. So when you show up on social media, people feel your energy. Okay, so I'm changing your social media experience forever right now. So apologize in advance, and I'm also saying you're welcome. So because from now on, your social media experience is going to change.
Sorry.
Because you can really tell when people are like, oh God, I just got to do this. I don't want to do it. I'm sorry, right? Or if somebody is showing up like, oh, I can't wait to connect with some new friends. I can't wait to meet some new people. Okay, there's a difference. You can tell when somebody is doing having someone else do their social media for them, like being them. I mean, there's lots of things you can have someone else do for you for your social media, your assistant, your VA, but you can't have somebody be you. You have to show up as yourself, and you have to show up authentically, because we all feel that. And now, when you go onto Facebook next time, or wherever you're on Instagram, wherever you are, you're gonna start to really see, like, I'm feeling this, I'm not feeling this. You're gonna see where you're leaning in and where you're not. So my question is, do you really care? Do you really care? And there's a handout on the table that has the acronyms, so I'm using 2 acronyms, and this is the first one. The first one is, it's blue with white on the back, so you can write on it. The first one is, do you really care? When you are on social media, wherever you are, and this is all social media, are you connecting? That's the C. When you connect, are you acknowledging? Are you acknowledging when people play with you? Are you acknowledging when people comment on your content? Are you acknowledging people, maybe people that you've seen here today? So are you connecting? Do you acknowledge? Do you respond? When somebody says something to you, do you respond? More than just like or love, okay? Even if you put a heart in the comment, it's more than just the like or the love. So do you connect? Do you acknowledge? Do you respond? And do you engage? Do you take it to that next level? Do you engage people to play with you? So I want you to think about that in terms of your own experience of social media. And I'm going to actually, a lot of times people ask me like, well, Diana, how often do I need to be on social media? How much time should I spend? Okay, so let's take another breath. As I tell you, another suggestion where you may go out of your body. I recommend being on for an hour a day. Okay, I know many of you are out of your bodies. Now this is not, I've fallen into Facebook and I can't get out. It's not, click on something and then all of a sudden you're like in YouTube watching videos for 2 hours. Okay, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about intentional social media. And it's not 1 hour straight. It's being on maybe like 4 times for 15 minutes. Or maybe it's 4 times for 5 minutes. It's being present, okay? One heartfelt comment that you can make on social media or one conversation that you can engage in is going to give you more influence than all the likes and loves and, as I say, and all the blah blah, okay? So it's like show up, be present, be intentional, and play with the people that you want to play with, okay? So who do you want to play with? I'm going to talk about the other acronym, which is the letters to the 2 words whole heart. So the first thing I want to say, like a lot of times what we do, we open up our whatever social media platform and we go, what should I say? What should I post? But that's not the question. The question is, who am I talking to? If you can find that one person that is the person that you want to be reaching, again, whatever it is, whether it's a cause, a business, personal, whatever it is, if you can connect with that one person and have whatever you're putting out there come from that place that's going to cause that one person to lean in, to become curious about what you have to share, that's how you're going to really engage with your social media. So it's who are you talking to? The H is how do you help them? What is the struggle that they're having, no matter business or not business? What is the struggle that they're having that you are the answer to? And the next thing is, what are you offering? What is the transformation? And these are the things that are going to cause people to lean in, to want more from you, to say, tell me more, and to become curious. So who are you talking to? How do you help them? And what are you offering? The L is, no matter what you're doing on social media, I want to really encourage you to spread love. I recently, some of you may have seen it, I recently did this 30-day love challenge. It was so fun, and it was so engaging, and so many people played. And it was like, we need that right now. We need love. We need positivity. Whatever you're sharing, share it from love. So that's the L. And E is to elevate. Look to use social media to elevate. There's lots of places where you can vent and do all that other blah blah. But on social media, I want to encourage you to use it as a way to elevate and to really spread your message in that way. So that's whole. Heart. Bring your whole heart essence to your online presence. Okay? So be present, show up with your whole heart. And I know, like I'm saying, be as real as you can be. Okay? So don't put some, okay, so right now, I'm gonna tell you, this is the best kept secret. Okay, ready? Okay, lean in. Ready for this one? You don't ever have to worry about privacy or security on the internet ever again. Because you have none. Okay? Don't put anything anywhere on the internet that you don't want on the front page of the newspaper. That being said, it's going to be up to each of you to decide how transparent can I be? How real can I be? What can I put out there that I am going to feel comfortable with and also feel like is authentically me? It's a very personal thing for each person. There's no shoulds. It's just whatever you're going to feel comfortable with. And like I said, it's like dipping your toe in the ice water and just dipping the other toe and going in the freezing cold water until it gets a little warmer and a little warmer. And once you start playing with the people that you want to play with, the people who are in your lane, the people who are here, you can play with the people in this room and never have to find another new person on social media, just saying. Right? And the 3,500 people in Polka Dot, okay? But not even only the people who are in this room. So bringing your whole heart essence to your online presence, bringing your authenticity. E, share education, okay? Share whatever is important to you with an educational tone. A is to be an activist. In whatever way whatever that means to you, social media is a powerful force for positive change in the world. And whatever your cause is, whatever your mission is, you can use that as a way to get your message out worldwide, okay? And I know that some of you are going like, oh, Facebook and Mark Zuckerberg, and okay? But here's the thing. Okay, I'm gonna channel my inner geek for a moment, okay? Okay. There's really two components to social media. There's us, what we do, that's called user-generated content. Okay, that's us, the users. It's how we play on social media. And then the other side of it is ads. So if we don't play, there's nobody to see the ads. So the social media platforms encourage us to play by giving us higher visibility when we do reels or when we do the things they want us to do. So why not play with intention? Why not show up? And that's never going to go away. There's never going to be a time where we're not going to have the opportunity to play on social media. So why don't we play with intention? Why don't we use social media to raise consciousness? So now I'm going to get up on my soapbox for a minute and say to each of you here, your message matters. Every single one of you here, for wherever you're coming from, has a message, has a contribution to humanity. And so I want you to think about that in terms of letting go of some of the stuff around social media in order to use it. So my mission is to raise the consciousness of social media so that we can use social media to raise consciousness and elevate humanity. So who's with me on that mission? Yeah. Okay, thank you so much.